Hello and welcome back to another match preview. Arsenal versus West Ham United. And happening on the 28th on a Thursday. Our first game since Christmas. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you are new, and let's get into it, man. What is the point of even trying to get your hopes up for this kind of game? I know we beat Man United. I know we won at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I know we beat Chelsea at home, but Chelsea are Chelsea. Man United are around us. You can say to other teams, we've also got battered by Villa, beat by City, beat by Liverpool twice. We drew to Newcastle. Trying to think of other teams, like we beat Brighton. But like in general, like you never know what you're gonna get with West Ham. And I know we beat Arsenal earlier this season, but that was at our ground. If this was at our ground, I'd be like, yeah, we could get a draw. We could get a draw. But they are also good. Well, also both teams are gonna have slightly different 11s, probably from what was in the Carabao Cup. And the thing that won it for us in the end, against Arsenal in the Cup, was Mohamed Kudus against Zinchenko. We ended up losing to Brentford in that weekend anyway. But Mohamed Kudus against Zinchenko was pretty much what was the battle that everyone will be looking at again for Thursday. The problem with this is that they will also be playing. Gabriel did play, I think, the Carabao Cup game, but Saliba will be playing, and Ben White had a howler as well. So you never know, we could get at the fullbacks, and even if it's not Kudus, it'll be Jared Bowen against Zinchenko. Jared Bowen got at Tierney when we faced them at the Emirates last season. Zinchenko did actually play against us last season for Arsenal, but this will be first time Arsenal have Tomiyasu out, and they have Julian Timber's been out since the first game against Nottingham Forest. Apparently Thomas Partey could feature after full training. Kai Havertz is suspended. He has been on scoring form, but everyone knows I don't rate Kai Havertz. He's got great movement, but if your best attribute is an off-the-ball attribute, what am I really praising you for as a footballer? Because I don't think he's a great goal scorer. We've seen him go on patches for Chelsea before, but then dip. He would actually rather just appear in a big games if he wanted to, and that would be it. Like, he would never appear in the smaller games. Like, he would never make an appearance, sort of thing. And what I mean by that is, you'll never see him. You'll never see him show for the ball. You'll never see him link up. He would actually rather wait for a Champions League game under Thomas Tuchel at the time it would have been, or Graham Potter, briefly. Rather than if it was like Crystal Palace away or something. The guy would have really turned up. And that's just an example. But, listen, in general, I don't think it matters who Arsenal now play left centre mid, because if they really wanted to, they could probably get the best out of Emil Smith-Rowe in that position. Someone who suffered with injury, someone who, as much as I would take at West Ham, he is also injury prone. But then again, if he wasn't injury prone, he would be a regular at Arsenal, and they wouldn't have had to buy Kai Havertz. Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah seem to have very good games against West Ham United. Typically, Gabriel Jesus is a very, very good footballer, but not a great finisher. Eddie Nketiah is a moments player for me. We saw what he did to Tilo Kehrer last time we was at the Emirates, and we actually went 1-0 up at half-time and stuff like that. But we all know what happened. A capitulation happened, a defensive capitulation, and a goalkeeping capitulation from Lucas Fabianski at the time. Now, with Ariel and Fabianski, I love them both. I do think you never know with them sometimes. You never know whether... I do trust them both. But there is an occasional now and then mistake in them. But at these stadiums, you can't be doing that. At these stadiums, you've got to close down every player. You've got to close down people from outside the box. Martin Odegaard, another player who plays against West Ham very well, but it's just in general a very good player. Knows how to cut open the spaces and find himself in spaces, and isn't as inconsistent in big games as Bruno Fernandes, but sometimes will ghost in a big game, sometimes will turn up in a big game. He did really well against Liverpool on the weekend, actually, to be fair to the guy. I think he did really well. And the thing is with Martin Odegaard is that he really made himself like a name at Arsenal in that 3-3 game when it was at our ground and we were 3-1 up at half time, and we should have seen that game out. But we'll talk about that maybe another time if we're reflecting on the game. But listen, Arsenal away isn't anything to expect. There's a return of Declan Rice as well, but we've already been through that at the Carabao Cup. As much as he respects the club, he's going to obviously win this game because he plays for Arsenal now. But in the midfield battle, we'll have to be strong for this. Like Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, and Souček will have to be on it. If we play like we did against Tottenham in the first half, Arsenal could put 3 past us in the first half at least. Like this could go either way. West Ham could either narrowly get a draw or could just get battered. I think we will threat them on the counter, but I also think we will be too cautious. It's just better if we go for this game rather than soaking up pressure. The more we soak up pressure with Bukayo Saka and Odegaard down that right-hand side, the more they'll find an opening. If you watch the game against Brentford that they did, it was very hard for them to break Brentford down, but the more they got it to Saka and Odegaard, all of a sudden crossed to the back post, and Kai Havertz scores right at the end. And they will push to the end. Against Luton, they pushed to the end. Against Brentford, they pushed to the end. They will find the last-minute goal no matter what. No matter how it happens, no matter how even bad they will perform, they will find it. Their attack hasn't clicked yet because they're trying to go for more passing the ball slower, more controlled. That's why you haven't seen the best of Saka, Martinelli, even Leandro Trossard when he's played, Jesus when he's played, Enquiries when he's played. They nearly found goals against... Well, they nearly found a goal against Villa. They didn't find a goal against Newcastle, but the only games they've lost have been Arsenal fans just begging them, just talking about referees all the time rather than lack of them scoring. But both of those have been away from home. I don't think they will actually lose a game at home this season, Arsenal. I do think they will still not win the league. I think it will still be Manchester City. But I don't think that I don't think they'll lose a game at home. So I don't really have much confidence in general. If we go back for the last few times we was at the Emirates, from what I can remember, last year was the 3-1 loss. The time before that, we were both in the top 4 battle. We should have done way better. I don't care about the injuries we had at the time. We lost 2-0. Masuaku got absolutely fingered by Bukayo Saka. And a red card that should have been... A second yellow card that should have been given as a second yellow card for Vladimir Seifel was also on that, but whatever. Time before that was the 2021 season where we had the typical we played well at the Emirates performance but didn't win, where we lost 2-1, and we had just come off the back of the Diangana saga and the Newcastle loss at home where we lost 2-0, the start of the lockdown season. In the 1920 season, I'm pretty sure that was the last game before lockdown. I don't remember what the score was, but we lost the game before that in 18-19 where we also played well and lost 17-18. I'm pretty sure that was the 4-1 game where we got bad and lost 16-17 season. Don't remember what happened in that one. 15-16 season, we actually won on the first game of the season. Dimitri Payet's debut, Reece Oxford against Mesut Ozil, that iconic performance as well. So the record at the Emirates isn't good. We've only ever won there twice in general, from what I know, and that was the Bobby Zamora, Robert Green masterclass when they first went to the Emirates. That was a bit before my time. And in general, winning against Arsenal in the Premier League doesn't come around often. That was the last game at Highbury, first game at the Emirates. Well, our first visit at the Emirates, I think, was the first team to win there. Last team to beat them at Highbury. The 1-0 where Declan Rice scores his first goal for West Ham against Arsenal when they had Unai Emery. And obviously the 15-16 season, as I said. There's not many. There's been some good clashes over the time. Like, it's not really a London derby that we get up for. It's usually Tottenham and Chelsea that we get up for, Millwall that we get up for, not Arsenal. Even though fans are starting to hate Arsenal now, I've been hating Arsenal all my life. Because I grew up with a lot of Arsenal people, a lot of Man United people that weren't there. Like, if they weren't West Ham I'll grow up with Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, etc. Yeah, we it's not really like apart from like the Martin Keown sort of when Martin Keown played for Arsenal and our fans would have a back and forth with him, or when we beat them in the FA Cup years ago with Trevor Brookin. Like, apart from that, there's not really a rivalry there. It's just a London derby. It's just a fierce London derby that on the day it gets heated, but leading up to the game is not really much of a back and forth. There's not really much of a history of West Ham Arsenal, as much as there is West Ham Chelsea, West Ham Tottenham, West Ham Millwall. And it's a game that I would desperately want to win. It would be the best win of the season so far if we win here, because it'll be the most impressive, the most unlikely, and the bragging rights. You know what their fans are like. But they're going to beat us. They're going to beat us. It's at the Emirates. Declan Rice will return. They'll be up for it. The home atmosphere isn't as good as last season, but they're going to want to win the league. They'll find an opening no matter what. I reckon we'll score a goal. I reckon Jared Bowen will score, but I reckon we'll lose 3-1 or something like that. If I'm going to guess the teams, it's hard to guess their team because I don't know who's going to come in for Havertz, but I'm going to guess it's going to be Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Rice. I'm going to guess Jorginho. Will play, and Odegaard. So it'll be a bit of a switch up with the midfield. Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, even though he was bad against Liverpool in the second half, and Jesus. Unless Trossard comes, I think I'd rather come up against Trossard, even though either Trossard or Martinelli both have a good record against us. Saka has a good record against us, and Nketiah has a good record against us. This is very hard to avoid. A lot of these players have a good record against us, with or without Arsenal. Jesus at Man City, Trossard at Brighton, they had good records against us. If we're going to guess the West Ham team, it'll probably be the same team as Man United. Areola, Soufal, Zuma, Mavropanos, Emerson. Might be again. You never know what Moyes is like. Souček, Ward-Prowse, Alvarez, Bowen, Kudus, Paquetá. If it was up to me, I would put probably a left winger instead of Souček. Probably Fornals for this sort of game. He's not a left winger. He's not good on the left, but work rate and all that. We're going to sit back, so we're probably going to need someone like Fornals for this type of game. But I would play probably Paquetá up front, Kudus behind him, and Bowen on the right, because Paquetá creates from the middle. We're not going to see the best of Paquetá in this game because he's going to be on the fucking left-hand side all the time. And it's not going to work. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope we get back up to 6th place, because that Man United Aston Villa game hasn't helped us at all. We need Tottenham to beat Brighton, really. And then we're in a battle for Europe now. We've snuck up there again. So let's try and stay up there for as long as possible, because we've got Brighton after that. And yeah, that's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all. But make sure to like the video, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me. The email for the inquiries. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.